Oh my God.
Dude.
Oh my God.
Hello, Jason and Melissa's, and welcome back to Rewatching Home Movies, a weekly watch-along podcast where three friends and one guest break down the 1999 animated series Home Movies. My name is Tim, and I'm obsessed with home movies.
I'm Adele, and I'm a home movies newbie.
And my name is Marcin, and I've never seen home movies.
And my name is Aimee, and I am moderately romantic with home movies.
Home Movies Season 4, Episode 5, titled The Wizard's Baker. Original air date February 8th, 2004 on Adult Swim. Written by Brendan Small, Bill Broaddus, and cast. Directed by Lauren Bouchard and produced by Jack Ferriolo. Synopsis for this episode. Brendan joins the Skunk Scouts after experiencing some creative burnout. Meanwhile, Coach is feeling some buyer's remorse. So there you go. Can I tell you, at the top of my notes, I wrote, "This is the real musical episode." So much to go over in this episode. We have Creative Corner, we have all that, but we also have a guest. And I told myself today I need to be better at introducing our guests because I don't think I've been doing a great job. So our guest this week, she is a comedian. She is a podcaster. And she is, if I'm being honest, my oldest brother's little sister. Mm-hmm. Guys, make some noise for Miss Aimee Blaze.
I just like the noise that she shows.
Yes. Welcome to the podcast, Aimee.
Thank you so much. You have had two siblings on your podcast?
Yeah.
How many siblings does he have?
We'll see. We got a couple more episodes left this season.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I emailed our other siblings, but haven't heard back yet.
They're hard to get in touch with.
Yeah, that's how impersonal our relationship
Yes.
is I emailed them.
Yes.
So, welcome to the podcast. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Aimee, I'll just say, Aimee and I started comedy like 1 week apart.
Yeah.
If we want to do the annoying like twins thing, I started first.
Yeah.
And then Aimee started the week after.
And then I was
did.
like, I could do this.
Yeah. And then 3 weeks later, she was better than me. So
yeah,
it worked out kind of.
You're trying to
girl
one up.
So, but it's been very fun coming up in comedy with kind of a built-in sibling / partner.
Right. You have someone there.
Yes. And I think we have probably helped ourselves on multiple occasions not quit comedy.
Yeah.
Just because the other one didn't want to quit that week. So
right. Yeah, we have not sunk up yet. So once we sync up, it's over for you
that week
guys.
that we're both like, wait, do we want to stop?
What are we doing?
This is kind of sad, right?
Yeah.
It could go the other way where you guys just explode each other into confidence.
Oh.
No, that's not. You haven't hung out with enough comedians, my friend.
There's none of that.
I've heard enough.
Yeah. I just found out you've infiltrated this.
We won't say the group name, but the local comedy scene Facebook group has some non-comedians in it, apparently.
I don't know. I laugh enough.
Oh, good. It's mostly promotion and them jerking each other off.
I've been waiting to see that, but that hasn't occurred yet.
That's what I'm in it for.
Yeah, I can tell you which OnlyFans to subscribe to for that. So, well, why don't we jump into this episode? And to do that, of course, we have to jump into the Creative Corner, which is something in the realm of creativity we're producing or consuming that we want to bring to light. As per my contract, bring us in, Count Orlick.
Creative Corner. Totally do.
I'm still not a fan.
I will say, with having a guest today, it's very hot and uncomfortable in this room already.
Aww.
And I think it's because somebody's hog's out.
Yeah.
It's
like,
synthetic.
I got over the hog after a while, but now it's just like he's looking over me like downwards, unblinking.
He likes what he sees.
Yeah,
Guys, for this creative corner, I'd like to go first, please.
absolutely.
And I'm going to keep it very brief and very to the point, because if we talk too much about it, I am going to cry. As of this recording on Hulu, you can now watch the very last special of Ken Flores. It posted up on Hulu. It's called The Butterfly Effect. It's kind of been an accumulation of everything he's worked on up to this point. I want to watch it. Not emotionally ready, but it's out there. I've already seen people post about it. They say it's great. So if you have Hulu and you want to watch some very funny comedy from a very funny human being who is no longer with us, please check out Ken Flores' new Hulu special, Butterfly Effect.
For a straight month, I lived like from maybe a block away from the Chicago Laugh Factory, but for a straight month, like Ken Flores was up there. Kept popping up, and people in the comedy scene in Chicago were very upset. I had no idea how beloved he was until obviously, which is a shame.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Very honored to know that man, and we've had him on my podcast.
So Aimee is co-host of the Happy Corner podcast.
Which if you didn't know, Timmy is also on.
But the Happy Corner, you guys donated audio equipment to us so we could do this podcast. So I mean, we technically wouldn't be here without you guys. So either thank you or this is all your fault. And you guys had Ken Flores on the Happy Corner. Ken has come to our open mic. He did a guest spot
on
our show that we've done. Just, I mean, to say he lit up the room is like such an understatement.
Oh, for sure.
We didn't even have him technically booked for the show that we produced. He just came in, and I had coworkers that were like, still like, dude, he was the funniest fucking part of that show.
Yeah, same.
So his new specials on Hulu, The Butterfly Effect. Please check it out. I can't talk about this anymore.
Yeah,
good.
I haven't watched it either, but yeah.
Yeah.
I will never emotionally be ready for that.
No, absolutely not. Even when I think I am, I'm going to start it and be like, nope. But it's gonna be a happy tears. I'm so proud of everything he accomplished.
Yeah, that's huge.
In his little time.
A special on
comedy.
Hulu, dude. That's crazy.
That's wild.
We're friends with that guy.
Didn't they name a street after him?
They did.
In his hometown.
In his hometown.
And there was a huge block party for it.
Yeah.
Deserved.
Yeah.
Well deserved.
Well, that's the thing. He got big, and he would still come home and find places to be able to do a show where all his people could come out. Because he had such a following from day one.
Yep.
If you were on a show with Ken, you were like, hell yeah, we're going to run this today.
Yep, 100%.
If you were on a competition with Ken, you were losing that competition.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. And usually when he came to town and booked a show, it turned into like 5 shows because they would
had
sell
to keep
out
adding
so fast. So, Butterfly Effect on Hulu. Ken Flores. That's my creative corner.
Great creative corner.
Thank you. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
That's Adele.
Okay. So I want us all to time travel back to 2013 when a movie came out called Her.
I haven't seen that movie.
You haven't seen it?
I have been spoiled. Listen, there's a big reason I don't, and it's because of my fear of what I'm sure you're about to speak about.
Yeah. So yesterday was Tim and I's anniversary, so we thought, let's get romantic and watch Her. So that's what we did. And I watched it when it first came out, and when I watched it back then, it really didn't resonate like it does now.
I bet.
Because when I watched it the first time, I was like, this shit's never gonna fucking happen. This is so unrealistic. So many things are like so... It was just another futuristic movie to me. And then now watching it as a 31-year-old woman, I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, this is now actively happening. People falling in love with their AI and just, like, losing touch with what's real and just losing connection with people because they rather have it with their phone or with... Oh, my gosh. So that's going to be my creative corner because it's just... It aged in such a way that it's almost haunting. And... It has some social commentaries. I don't want to get too much into it because I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But they have social commentaries in it that 21-year-old me did not pick up on that I picked up on now. I was like, holy shit. So it's just a really good movie. It's a little bit romantic. I don't know. It was kind of romantic for our anniversary.
Yeah.
Like, they're talking about love, whatever. They have sex, right? So, yeah, it was good. But yeah, it was just, and the other thing that I found challenging with it, now that I've seen Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker, is that's all I could see. This is the Joker.
Yep. Every 10 minutes, Adele turned to me and she's like, "What do you get?"
The second you said that, I was trying to figure out how I could get it in there.
That's like Marcin's favorite bit.
What do you get? But I've never seen her, mostly because my straight fear, even when it first came out, I was in high school when it came out, and I was really terrified of it. Like, the idea of falling in love with something that isn't real, because, who hasn't had a crush on a fictional character before?
Right.
And then for them to actually just keep talking to you, that just, like, sinks you deeper.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's this movie I believe it's the director of Lost in Translation and the director of Her both had a relationship, and Lost in Translation is one person's perspective of that relationship.
Oh, interesting.
And Her is the other person's perspective of that
just gave me
relationship.
goosebumps hearing that. It must be true.
I'm pretty sure it's those two movies, because and it's like one was in the 90s and one was like in the 2010s. But I haven't seen either of those films, and so I would love to do like a double feature trying
That'd be
to
fun.
That's interesting. Yeah, that would be good.
the lore of that is so interesting, but oh god, Her is such a
it's almost scary how well they predicted
Yeah.
what's going to happen in that
What
movie.
is happening.
What is currently happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
AI is like crazy. I was just telling Tim in the car that I was watching this lady get like advice from her, AI chat GPT or whatever, like helping her with her diet. And like while she was asking about it, she sneezes and she's like, "Oh, excuse me." And her AI is like, "Oh, bless you." Anyway, let's see how many scoops.
Was that not part of the movie where he's like, wait,
Yeah.
you took a
you
breath.
can hear him breathe. Yeah. He chuckles like right in the right spot. It's so unnerving.
Sometimes they stutter just to like make it seem
well, you're
like
convincing me that there's a person behind that that's like working.
There was genuinely a company that was like, "Oh, this is an AI company," and and they were like, they found out it was 700 programmers like in a room.
See, that's so scary. I have a little, like I want to say a healthy amount of AI, like in my home, my Alexa.
Sure.
And I am so nice to her.
Oh,
because
yeah.
I'm terrified of her.
Absolutely. I will thank my Alexa.
Oh, all the time.
One time I've referenced this before. A certain somebody in this room told my Alexa to slob on his knob.
See.
And I was like, you talk to my Alexa with respect.
With respect.
I don't like AI, and I don't like it anywhere near me.
I understand not liking it, but I think that you should still kiss his ass a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little.
Nah, they
just
can
a
kill me.
healthy amount.
Nah, they can kill me.
It's like being nice to the person you assume might like
the Dane
pew
Cook
at school or something.
The Dane Cook bit where it's like, here's a piece of candy.
But yeah, Her, very good movie.
I
Highly
haven't seen that in a
recommend it.
while.
Yeah.
I have to watch that one again.
Still more relevant now than when it was made.
Yeah.
And I forgot about a lot of the stuff that happens.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I definitely would.
It is a very vague memory to me.
Yeah.
So
Did you
Check it
guys?
out.
Did you guys see the sequel?
There's a sequel?
Yeah,
This is a bit.
Fat Her.
There it is.
God, it's just
I
like
was
I can
waiting for
see
it.
it on your face every time.
I can tell you're part of a comedy group. The jokes are about just as good.
Yeah, but I'm nice and I don't put it in front of a
I
room
do
of strangers.
appreciate that. I do appreciate it. You're still saying it into a microphone, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And guess who listens to our podcast? Mainly strangers.
I mean, I know most of them now.
Give them the light. Just kidding.
Good creative corner, Adele.
Thanks. Thank you.
All right. Who's next?
I will go next. So mine is, it's funny that you were talking about guessing Aimee's creative corner earlier, and you were listing off things that might be something. I think one of them was political TikTokers as an idea. Well, mine is a political TikToker.
Oh,
Who
shit.
is it?
Daniela M. Young. She is also known as the Knitting Cult Lady on TikTok. She is a veteran of the military who talks about her time in the military. She talks about her time in cults and the deconstruction of white supremacy.
Let's go.
She has 2 books. She's the author of Uncultured and Un-American. She has 2 podcasts called Hey White Women and Cults and the Culting of America. She talks in depth about how the illusion of white supremacy, the myth of white supremacy, and growing up as white people, I'm sure we all at one point had the belief that racism was over, that bigotry was a thing of the past, and it's not. And I won't get too deep into it because it's a very heavy topic, but if this country and if you as a person are going to move forward as a person to progress into something that is better for just anything, it is to you really need to deconstruct and really like pull on these threads that people have, knitted into us, to be a little bit more relevant to the knitting cult lady. But she has studied cults for a long time. She talks about the cult of capitalism, the cult of white supremacy, the cult of patriarchy, and how so many things are just cults, down to her time in the military, where she talks about how, so for men in the military, a big thing of trauma bonding is them shaving their heads. But they don't want to shave women's heads because that's unfeminine. So what instead they do is make them get naked. Yeah. For audience at home, Adele's jaw dropped. And yours probably is too. Yeah, they make women get naked because it's about trauma. And it's about breaking you down and breaking your spirit so you can be molded into whatever they want you to be. It's a cult. And so I don't want to stay too hard because it's a very heavy topic, but I do recommend listening to her podcasts, reading her books, and just going on TikTok and following her because she is a very smart woman who has a lot to say, and it's very meaningful.
Say your name one more time.
Oh, yeah. Daniela M. Young.
Okay.
And then the podcasts.
Hey White Women, Cults and the Culting of America. And then she also has 2 books, Uncultured and Un-American. Knitting Cult Lady on TikTok.
Sounds like she does a lot.
Yeah. I was going to say, very, very interesting perspective.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. She moved from Seattle to Maryland to deconstruct because, forget exactly what she says, but she says you cannot, it's this study of stereotypes and you can't really deconstruct, and I'm messing this up completely, but I'm paraphrasing as much as I can remember. You cannot really understand unless you're 20% of a population. You can't really understand how that negatively affects you unless you're like a minority of the population.
Right.
And there's 3 steps, and I completely forget the third one, but there's like a few different steps of deconstruction, and she talks about like the first 3, and it's like being aware of it, and then the second one's like completely removing yourself from it. I completely forget the third, so go look at it. But that's why she moved from Seattle to Maryland. She's a very smart woman. She talks about how it's not just the right who are in a cult.
Right.
It's a very neutral, very like we have to pull ourselves away from this in order to just grow as people.
Yeah. I'm going to look into that. That's
I love a good political TikTok. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And I don't know that one.
And a good cult podcast. That's
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Great creative corner. Well,
that's me.
Yep. We got one more left.
That's me. I just binge watched a show that I want to talk about. It's on Apple TV.
Okay.
I got Apple TV for Severance, naturally. This show is called The Studio.
Okay.
Okay. It has got like a fucking cast, let me tell you. Like Seth Rogen, we got Catherine Hahn, Catherine O'Hara. We've got, what's the younger Franco? The not piece of shit Franco?
Yeah.
David Franco. We've got Bryan Cranston. Did I say that?
No.
We've got, and then like all types of, so basically it's this guy who like runs, he's like a studio head for movies, right? Seth Rogen. They're making all these movies, and I do have a little problem with the show. This is how I gauge how you feel. How do you feel about the movies Meet the Parents or like Meet the Fockers?
Oh, I know some people can't watch them because they're like that, like secondhand embarrassment kind of cringe. Yeah. I thought they were funny.
Okay, so you'd probably like the show because like Seth Rogen's always in trouble with something,
right?
Like, and it's always like anxiety. Like you're like, fuck, dude, read The Room. You know, you're just like so embarrassed for him. You're so, but it's really neat because like Seth Rogen is playing somebody, but all the people like he's working with are themselves. So like Martin Scorsese's in it. He's himself.
Yeah.
There's actors that like Olivia Wilde. Isn't she a piece of shit?
She's in her.
Olivia
Who
Wilde.
did she play in her?
The date that he went on, like the actual
Oh,
date
shit. See,
that turned on him.
Wasn't she like married to? She like cheated on her husband with somebody.
Was she with Jason Sudeikis when all that?
I think that's
She was
what
in
it
the show House, I believe.
Oh, she was in
She
Don't
was
Worry,
in House.
Darling.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was
I'm
that the one
pretty
she
sure
directed?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
She like cheated on Jason Sudeikis with somebody
Yeah.
else
Who
famous.
Damn.
But who wouldn't? I don't know.
You hear that,
Maybe
Jason?
people- he does listen.
I saw him in Colossal with that one movie, and it just made me not like him anymore.
It's funny too because she's not exactly like the best person as herself in the movie or in the show. But you're watching the show and you're like having to remember that these are actors acting, but they're acting as themselves. So it gets like a little fucking like confusing because then there's Seth Rogen who's not.
Right.
So, but I think it was only like 10 episodes. There's a really funny episode towards the end where with mushrooms.
Nice.
Where Seth Rogen completely misunderstands what the dosage is. He asks and she says, "There's 2/8 in there," and he's like, 2/8, so like 0.25, and she's like, "No, 2/8." Which why wouldn't you just say a quarter?
Right.
So he was like, "Oh yeah, you just microdose them." So people ate like a few.
I saw that clip on TikTok. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I think a lot of people have seen this clip, but yeah, it's very funny.
I feel like I do feel like I've heard about this show. Only one season so far, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Now is Seth Rogen involved in this more than just being in it? Is he like producing it
I think
too?
he is.
That's
yeah.
what I think I heard. Yeah, no, I hear it's a really good show, and it's fun
It's
to
chaotic.
see these actors kind of playing versions of themselves.
It's a very fun show.
Nice.
Little
So-
chaotic, may give you some anxiety. Maybe take an edible before you
Dude, it's like the bear.
Oh man.
I love the bear.
You love the bear? I loved like the first season, then I don't know. I guess I didn't get it after that.
You're probably just wrong after that.
Yeah, no, I believe it.
Yeah.
I've been wrong in my life.
Me? Never.
Never. No, yeah, that sounds right.
All right. So the studio on that you said Apple TV?
It's on Apple TV. Yep.
Nice. Or wherever you pirate your TV shows.
4 great creative corners.
Hells yeah. Well, gang, we got a great episode to go over. I mean, if you want to. We don't have to, I guess.
I want to.
We can just talk about, I don't know, anything else. But too bad. We're going to talk about this, The Wizard's Baker, the real musical episode. Because we open up and we're in the musical. We see Dwayne dressed as a wizard singing, "I'm a wizard, wizard, a wizard, wizard, a wizard man." And then even saying, "Electricity shoots from his finger nails."
They show the fingernails very briefly. I thought they were bugles at first, but now that they're
Adele.
on TV,
I wrote that down. The first thing I wrote down was bugle nails. And now
they
that we're paused, I'm trying to figure out what we have going on here.
So I think this is just like pieces of paper cut into
Lightning?
lightning bolts taped to his
Taped to
fingers.
his fingers, but there's like
Christmas
lights
lights?
around him.
Oh yeah.
How do you propose he did that?
Those are fairy lights.
yeah, they shove a
In
battery
2004.
Sure.
20,004.
2004.
In the Lord's year?
Of 2004. Okay, I believe it.
Yeah, I did not notice a little Christmas light around
I didn't
him.
either because I thought they were bugles as well.
Yeah, that's fair.
I didn't notice them until you said something, and then my eyes kind of like adjusted. I was like, they're there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then he says, "He'll melt your brain." He's holding a brain candle. Very nice touch.
Nice touch.
And that's when we see Melissa as a cow sing-talking. So that's a little leftover bit from Bye Bye Greasy where Brendan tells her to sing-talk, singing moo, moo, moo. I am a cow, moo, moo, moo.
I just want to say, Bye Bye Greasy, I've rewatched probably more than any other episode of Home
Really?
Yeah.
Movies. I've watched it several times.
Damn.
There was a point when I was editing, like a couple weeks ago, where I just had that scene with McGurk,
Yeah.
just in a different tab that I would just go to and rewatch every couple. We
Nice.
really didn't express how great that fucking episode was. That was so out of nowhere and crazy. But also, what? She can sing fine. I don't know why they keep making her sing talk.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think Adele, even when we were watching this episode, like just on our own free time, she's like, I really want to hear Melissa sing.
Yeah.
And I said, I think we did when they were singing about being artists.
Yeah.
They let her just sing normal for that. So I don't know what their issue is with making her sing talk now.
Brennan is the Barbara Streisand of the group where no one can sing better than me.
This part, I just wrote down uncomfortable milking.
Yeah. I wrote down, I don't like the milk.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the milking.
I'm going to be
happening.
honest. There are a couple times where Jason handles the udders in a way that I'm like,
Hey, relax,
what
man.
are you doing, buddy?
Yeah.
That touch is real gentle over
Yeah.
there.
And he even says, because he comes in and says that he milks the cow. It's his only job. He fears the wizard. He should be impeached.
Yeah.
And he finishes the song by saying he hates his job, but that's a different story. And then kind of poking one of the others says that he has a weird relationship with the cow.
Yeah.
The way that Melissa's singing the whole time while he's literally milking, that's a problem with me I need to deal with, I guess. Because I was like, I don't
That's a
like
me
this, I
problem.
don't like this.
No, I also did not enjoy that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think the wizard should be impeached.
I also
Yeah.
think the wizard should be impeached.
I agree. I agree.
He did have one of those cool electrical ball thingies, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty dope. I will give him that.
you get from Spencer's.
Yeah.
This might be a little bit of a, not related at all, but this episode I watched on YouTube, and a lot of people in the comments of this episode talk about Melissa as the cow, and there was a lot of comments about Dua Lipa, and I was just like, what does this mean?
What's that reference?
Was it Dua Lipa or was it Doja Cat?
Doja Cat.
Oh, Doja Cat, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
yeah, Doja Cat had a whole, cow
Yeah.
theme.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Moo.
Yeah.
I am a cow.
Yeah.
Bitch, I'm a cow.
Yeah.
That's a song. Yeah.
there
Yeah.
you go. Doja Cat. Sorry.
Doja Cat.
So some people were like, did she steal this from Melissa?
Oh, hey. That would be crazy, wouldn't it? Let's
Right.
ask her.
I'm not a cat.
I'll
I don't
text
say
her real
meow.
quick.
Yeah, text her real quick.
That was one of my favorite music videos ever. Was just like a webcam she refused to move, and she's like getting lower into the frame while when she stands up, she's like still trying to be in frame. So shitty, but funny.
Yeah. Well, finally, we see Brendan singing about how he's a baker, and today is his birthday. And he just turned 1 year old. And he's very cold. And he just found out he's a baker's man, and he lives inside of a baking can with soft and pretty baker's hands. And this last lyric, a couple websites had the lyrics written out for this song. And they say that the last lyric he says, and I'm oh so lonely.
Wrong.
And then kind of stretches out that. I really don't hear that,
No.
though.
Should we play it
Can't
I
wait.
mean-
as like a little mini clip?
Yeah, go ahead.
And I live inside a baking can with soft and pretty baker's hands.
This part.
And I'm also me.
I don't hear lonely at all.
No.
I remember always thinking he said meek, but I don't hear the K at the end.
No, I heard no K, so I'm hearing and I'm also me.
Right.
Yeah. It was my idea was either me or is he saying mean? But why would he be mean?
Right.
Right.
I took it as like meek, like weak, meek, small. I don't know, but two different sites that had the quote unquote Wizard's Baker lyrics say, and he's oh so lonely, but I don't quite hear it. And then I forgot to write it down, but a handful, like maybe 6 years ago, a band covered the entire Wizard's Baker
Nice.
song beginning to end, all the way down to the pie fight.
That's a pie fight.
Well, we show Dwayne again singing that now the wizard is hungry. Time to make some pies, make them for me. And we see Brendan saying, yes, my master, that sounds good. Please don't kill me. Melissa says, I'll give you the milk. Brendan says, thank you. And Jason says, I'll do the milking.
Ugh, the way he rubs the udders.
And that's when Brendan points out, hey, here's some pies. Let's have a pie fight. Pie fight.
They're cow pies.
They're cow pies,
Yeah,
right?
they are.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. And again, and as a matter of fact, Jason pulls one from like,
The cow's butt.
Butt.
I
Yeah.
didn't even notice that.
yeah. So we have Jason, Melissa, everyone's getting hit with the cow pies. When Brendan says, let's have the pie fight, they cross his eyes, which is something the actual Brendan Small fucking hated when they did that. When somebody is saying something silly or whatever, they would like cross their eyes, and Brendan's like, I don't like that.
But isn't that your like favorite part when he starts crossing his eyes? You've talked about how like
I don't mind it. For some reason, Brendan Small doesn't like it when they do that, and I think it is something that they do to just kind of signify like, hey, we're being silly over here. But yeah, they even pause it with like, it looks like, I think that's Melissa shoving a cow pie in Brendan's face. So that's when we pull back to reveal this is Melissa and Jason. They're reviewing the movie. Jason is telling Melissa she did excellent. Melissa returns the compliment. Jason mentions the movie makes him feel all nipply.
I didn't like that.
Yeah, the way he was rubbing.
Any of it.
No.
A lot of
The word
gentle
nipply.
touches from Jason today.
Yeah.
Yes.
I noticed a couple times in this episode, Melissa looks directly at us. Like, at
Yeah.
At the camera?
Yeah. She does it here in this scene.
yeah, I saw that too. I just threw it away.
Yeah. She even tells him to write it down, and he's like, yeah, I will. So Melissa moves on by telling Brendan the short list of props they're going to need to finish the movie, which include a castle, a flock of pigeons, a bird wrangler. Jason brings up he has 14 minutes of uninterrupted CG. What's that, you ask? That's computer graphics. So they're going to need that.
She looks right at you.
Yeah.
They're gonna need the computer graphics for the cow's dream sequence. Melissa says they need an ice sculptor and an ice puppeteer, which she's not sure if that exists, but they need to find one. They list off a few more items like a sock, a grandfather clock, a kilt, scuba gear, a horse and buggy, and a robot, with the last thing being plutonium. And Jason says lots of it. They ask Brendan if he's getting all this, and that's when they realize Brendan is not in the room with them. They start freaking out a little bit, saying that they need to turn on the lights, but they don't know where they are. They start freaking out and running around looking for Brendan. Jason even grabs Melissa at one point, kind of being like, where's the lights?
That scene is so funny to me. Because, like, as a little kid, that's definitely happened. Where
Yeah.
you're just, like, in an unfamiliar place. The lights are out. You're like, where the fuck do I go?
I don't know where the lights are.
That was my favorite thing to do when I was with friends and the lights were off, and like I just stopped talking, and they're like, "Hey, what's going on?" Like nothing, and they start freaking out, and then I go, "Ah!"
Always with the pranks.
Yeah, that's me. That's who I am, mischief man. How you doing?
Hilarious.
I'll have an Alexander Hamilton burger.
I will tell that story for $5. No, I'm joking. I'll tell that story at some point if you actually want. Otherwise, we'll just edit it out.
Yeah.
But during that scene, when it was just Melissa and Jason talking, I don't know why, but because I don't know the premise or anything going in, I'm trying to figure out what story is going to be for the episode. And I was so scared that it was going to be like a Melissa Jason centric episode.
Like Brendan wasn't going to be in it at all?
No, I was worried it was going to be a romance storyline because that scene was so intimate.
I kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
I had the same, I was like, what is happening here?
Yeah.
They keep talking to each other. They're still
Are they-
talking.
She's looking at him?
He's rubbing his nipple.
Yeah. He's,
She's
and, like,
not...
the whole cow thing. Like,
Yeah.
The cow
you
thing is
know?
what started it. To be
Yeah.
honest.
Absolutely. But also, when he was rubbing his nipples, it's not like she was like, Jason, gross, cut it out. She's like, write it down.
Their relationship has come so far.
Oh, 100%. There was a point where they wouldn't even go to the movies
Yeah,
together.
they were
Yeah.
not friends.
And now he's milking her.
Well, now...
Didn't sound right, did it? Didn't
Write that
sound
down.
good.
didn't sound good. That ain't right.
We cut to outside and we see that Brendan is laying in a sandbox with Josie. Now,
So
this
cute.
happens a few times in this episode, and how they do this, honestly, it's brilliant. But let's think of just the part of Brendan's song in The Wizard's Baker. I am a baker, and today is my birthday. That melody gets reprised. It's in this scene right here, but it sounds like it's coming from almost like a music box. And that music plays in the background anytime Brendan's trying to get away or just trying to like have fun outside of his work. So we hear it like in this scene when he's talking to Josie in the sandbox. We hear it when he's getting initiated into the Skunk Scouts. And then we hear it again when he's playing with his Pinewood Derby car in his room with Eugene and Junior. So anytime he's trying to like escape his quote unquote work and just trying to be a fucking child, you will hear that music box melody of his song from the Wizard's Baker.
I am a
Wow.
I am a sucker for a good motif. I love that shit. As a storyteller, like in Puzzle Valley, there's countless examples of that.
Yeah.
So you pointing that out is amazing. Whoever the sound engineer or sound designer is in this episode, fucking great.
Just, it's beautiful. It's so well done. And then we hear another reprisal version of it later on in the episode, and I'll bring that up when we get there. But this is the first time we hear what I'm going to call the music box version of it. And it's just, it's so well done that it's specifically in scenes where Brendan is trying to recapture his childhood.
Should
So-
we play it for the pod?
Yeah, if you want to play it, go for it.
Oh, that one look over there looks like Peter Pan. And that one looks like Pinocchio. And that one looks like, what does that look like, Josie? Yeah, looks like a Haley Joel Osment.
So good.
I also wrote there with the Haley, like the older this episode gets, the funnier that joke is.
Right. It really is. I listen to podcasts that like kind of Haley Joel like still kind of rocks with and stuff. So like I still hear him from time to time, and it's yeah.
He's in Tusk.
Yes, he is.
Oh shit, I forgot about that.
Yep. So yeah, we listen to Brendan kind of looking at some clouds with Josie. After that point, he picks up Josie and holds her up, and just the way she's backlit from like the sun, it's almost like she's glowing. He holds her up and explains that she's so young and has her whole life ahead of her, saying he envies her youth and tells her not to give in to show business, spending your life being dragged down by projects you lose interest in and have to sneak away from.
She makes her little baby noises, and I swear at one point she says, "I'm baby."
Fucking love that baby, dude. And I never say that.
Just the. That's all I can hear whenever I see her.
They tone that down quite a bit now.
Oh, yeah,
Now
they-
she's very...
I want to hear the "I'm baby"
Joel.
part.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think it's
you're
when
so
he- yeah.
young, Josie. Look at you. Got your whole life ahead of you.
Yeah, the part where he's like, "Oh yeah, don't get tangled up in projects," and it's just like, I've had that conversation with me many times, but you know what?
Oh, yeah. Well, when he says, so you don't lose interest and have to sneak away, that's when it really hits home like, oh, he's not feeling the Wizard's Baker at all.
Which is crazy because he says it's the worst thing he's ever worked on, but like they were doing a lot of practical effects. Also, Dwayne just being there already ups the cool value.
Right. But, I mean, again, and this happens with the Franz Kafka rock opera from season 1. Brennan's like, this is the worst project we've ever... And it's like, nope, at that point, that was the best thing you ever did.
Yeah.
And I think we see it again with some other projects that he kind of like loses.
With Jazz, that jazz number that he didn't like. That was really good.
That was
Yeah.
the best one.
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember being blown away by that.
So just keeping on trend with Brendan being like so unimpressed with his work. And since it's their kids, it's really good.
I mean, that happens a lot with artists where you're working on something and you're like, this fucking sucks. I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Every episode of Puzzle Valley before I edit it. Every time. I'm like, oh, hey, I've done it terribly. And then afterwards, I'm like, no, I like this. This is good.
It all
you
comes
just-
together.
Just get in your brain. You just get in your brain.
Yeah. Well, it's that thing where it's like when you're creating a project, and especially if there's any kind of editing or anything like that needs to get done, you're spending so much time with it that you convince yourself that it's not good, it's not worth it. But sometimes just getting a fresh set of eyes on it to be like, hey, am I wasting my life right now? What's going on? And then they're like, oh, this is fucking great. What are you talking about? And you're like, ah, yes, a different perspective.
And you can finally breathe again.
Yeah. Well, next we see Jason explaining to Brendan that him and Melissa have been looking at the books, which they do not have, but if they did, they would say that we're out of money. Brendan pushes back and says, maybe this isn't the movie we sink all of our time and energy into. And immediately, Melissa pushes back to that, saying they've sunk 2 months into this, so that's 3 times longer that they sunk anything before. Jason asks if Brendan is abandoning ship, and it's clear from his body language that he says no, but he's not feeling it. Jason claims their next step is investors because they have a good product. They just need people to give them money.
Yeah. Don't we all?
Yeah.
Now, next we're going to have this montage of Brendan, Jason, and Melissa kind of doing the elevator pitch to a few different parties. And I don't know if you guys picked up on this, but as we kind of get to the next person and the next person and the next person, Brendan's enthusiasm just gets lower and lower and lower to the point where he is just like barely saying anything while Jason and Melissa are really like trying to put on the show and impress everyone, right? So first we have them talking to Paula, and Brendan is just as enthusiastic as the other two. Paula says she doesn't think she can get behind it. So next we see an open door, and it's Eric, Melissa's dad. So they're explaining the plot to him, and yet Brendan is a little less enthusiastic. So we pan to the door again, and now we have them talking to Mr. Lynch, who is holding one cat, while another cat sleeps on top of his head.
I want this life.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's official now, he has 2 cats.
Right now, we only know of 2 of his cats. Yes.
While Mr. Lynch is talking to him, you can see like Brendan looks he's got his hand on his face.
Yep. He's frowning while explaining the movie. Well, we get a shot of the door again, and we see, I'm assuming the one in the front is Stephanie.
Yeah. All their lips are different, so it's all
I was
different
gonna
women
say-
that are made to look like her.
Yes. Because at first I thought, okay, cool, she learned to clone herself. But yes, if you look at the lips, they all have different lips, which does indicate that this is like 6 or 7 women wearing the same thing, same shaped head, everything.
Very Holy Mountain-esque.
Yes.
Whatever that thing in the background.
Right? And I don't know if you noticed, but they all blink in unison, which is very unsettling.
Don't like that. Yeah, and then this one, Brendan's got his arms crossed now.
Yep. Arms crossed. He's pretty over it. Well, they're at the final door, and they're talking to none other than Jimmy Monet from Guitarmageddon.
Damn.
He looks so cool.
Both nips
Nipples
are out.
way out.
He's got a sailor hat.
Multiple women dancing inside, with one of them dancing in a cage. The sign next to his door said, "Knock if you're ready to rock." Well, he does not seem very impressed. When they show the 3 of them talking, Brendan is just completely over it. Like I said, though, Jason and Melissa kind of like are very animated, and Brendan is just like over it. So Melissa says not to give up hope, asks if they can think of any other people to ask for money, and that's when she says Coach McGurk. Brendan says he probably doesn't want to invest, but Melissa says that he'll spend his money on anything. And that's when we cut to Coach McGurk, alone in his apartment. Hey, do you remember when
Yes,
you...
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. So when we sent an email to the animator David Sanangelo,
Yes.
I sent a message just saying we're doing this home movies podcast. We would like to interview you about your animators. And then David Sanangelo was so, like, as an animator, very animated with his response. Like, home movies? Yes, I'm in. And then he responded with a single picture of McGurk with, what is that, a burrito on
Yeah.
his chest? And I didn't know what that was from, the context of
Right.
what that was, but that being the image and me now knowing the context of it, him responding with that still image of McGurk is very fucking funny.
Yeah. Yeah. This episode, as far as McGurk lore, is just, so tasty.
Yeah.
So tasty.
Still eating off his pecs.
Yep.
I love the 24-hour whistle.
Yeah.
Classic.
I wear this year round.
Well, McGurk is sitting at home alone in his apartment watching the Shop from Your House channel. And up next, we have Mappy. They ask him why he's so excited, and he simply responds, swords! Mappy is selling the ultimate sword package, and we see on the screen that his special price is $12,099 with $99.99 shipping and handling, or 3 easy payments of $4,033.
In like early 2000s money.
Yeah.
You can basically double it.
Oh, I just noticed the phone number is Jenny's number. 867-5309.
What?
Oh, the number at the top. 867-5309 and -J
For Jenny.
for Jenny.
That's very good.
Nice.
That is too funny. So, a couple things. I don't want to throw our grandma under the bus or anything, but
Lord.
oh, she was a big shop at home network. Her and our aunt.
Did she ever buy swords?
I would not be
Probably,
surprised. I would
honestly.
not be surprised.
I feel like it was our aunt more than
I think
our
so,
grandma.
too.
That's how we ended up with an 8-pound Oric. You remember that?
Yes, I do.
What's that?
It's a vacuum.
Yeah.
Ah.
It's only 8 pounds. Wow.
Back in the day when vacuums did weigh like 25 pounds each, this
Yeah.
was like an 8-pound vacuum, and it was kind of a huge deal.
The commercial for it was like an old lady picking it up with her finger. Look what this old lady can do.
So another part of the inspiration for this is, and I vaguely remember when they brought this up in commentary, but I think there was a viral video of somebody on the QVC with swords who very seriously injured themselves.
Oh, Lord.
So
Whenever I see swords now, I just think of that one video that went viral of the dude holding a sausage in his mouth and the other dude whipping a sword.
I have not seen this.
It's at a party, and then the dude whips the sword around to try and cut the sausage, but does get the dude's nose. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Not the tip of the nose.
And they play it in slow motion, so
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
see it. It doesn't slice clean through, which I think is worse, and it just gets him, and you do see how it's bad.
I'm glad I never saw this video.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't want to see
same.
Yeah.
Now imagine if you had a sword.
it. That's wood.
So this part is actually pretty funny because at one point the female host says you can see your reflection in them, and then when she lowers the sword slightly, you actually do see the reflection of the cameraman and the boom mic operator. So the host goes on to say that he can see these behind glass, in a living room, in a den in middle America.
The fucking blow up doll.
Right? I was going to say we even see McGurk fantasizing about where he would display the swords. Now, the host goes on to say he would probably keep these swords in the basement, where he can go down after an argument with his wife and just look at the swords.
Wife bad.
I like that you can get a free letter opener. With purchase. All in quotes.
Yeah.
Not only a free letter opener, it's a free gnome letter opener.
Get the fuck out of here.
Shut
Oh my god.
up. Look at it. It is a gnome.
Damn.
Tim, do
Good
you see it?
call.
I do see it. The handle is the red hat, and it's got a little beard printed on the blade.
Whoa.
I would have never.
Me
That's a good
either.
catch.
Good catch.
See, this is why Marcin scrubs through when we watch episodes.
Marcin's good at spotting gnomes that aren't like gnomes, like the gnome guitar.
Oh, the gnome guitar you
Dude,
spotted.
that's still my favorite one. It was so cool.
Yeah. I like this part, and it's totally like a sound design choice because one of the hosts is like, listen to this sound. And as he swings the sword, he's like, whoosh. But then you actually hear the whooshing sound effect. And then talk about just the most random lines. This is a line Craig and I will randomly say to each other. Our brother Craig, we'll just be like, I would buy that. I would buy a CD of those sounds. Oh, good stuff. So they go on to mention that they only have about 13 minutes left, and this is when McGurk lifts his head slightly and says, swords, while looking at his phone.
Swords.
I love the way he's just like, swords. Swords. I like the little scene transition. We have Coach McGurk come in as Zorro. Cut the screen up. So we're at soccer practice. Coach is unsheathing a sword, and we see Brendan's reflection in the blade.
Did you see that he cut through the screen in the shape of an M?
Oh my
For
god.
McGurk instead of
Yeah.
Z for Zorro. Nice.
I wrote down, I fear the swords would work on me.
Yeah.
Like that you would buy the swords or you would fall for it.
I would fall for that dude.
Go to an anime convention.
right. Let me show you my katanas real quick.
The amount of times I've been at a convention, they're selling swords. I'm like, I want a sword so bad.
I want a fucking sword so bad.
When I was in high school, there was a magazine called Bud K. Has anyone ever... It was just a magazine of like knives and swords and shit. And I remember we had a friend in high school that just would like go ham on that. And so he would have just this box of all the extra bullshit like knives and shit they would throw in and just sell them like super cheap. So that's where I got a lot of those random swords that I had. And then the other one was my old landlord had a tenant that just left and never took any of his stuff or anything. And so my buddy helped clean all the stuff out, and we got a ton of just these like Aladdin-ass looking swords.
Damn.
100 bad guys with swords. Do you still have them?
Some of them I think I do have in a box somewhere, but...
You can't just box a sword.
Well, I think all the swords I got rid of. I won't go into too many details, and I can show you guys afterwards, but when we moved in, remember when I parked the car in the garage and I looked up, there are like legitimate weapons. And yeah.
Well, our mutual friend Ed has a huge sword and knife collection.
Nice.
He's got a lot of them. One time I went over to his apartment and I was throwing something out in the dumpster, and I just opened the dumpster and there's a fucking sword. And I was like, Ed, there's a sword out here in the dumpster. He's like, oh, that is now mine. He pulled it out.
Free sword.
Yeah, he loves swords. I think swords are really cool.
If he loves swords, then I think a dumpster sword would technically, like, that sword found him.
Yeah.
Back when I lived at my grandmother's basement, there was this bed that just never got like moved or anything like that, and I was like, no, I'm not dealing with this. This is an old ass bed. I'm getting rid of this. This is disgusting. And I tore it apart. It had this like box bed. It was made of wood, and I remember like tearing it apart to try and get it out because it had just been matted to the ground. It was disgusting. But as I'm pulling apart this bed and tossing everything, I pull out a piece of wood. There's a fucking sword. There's just a sword just under the fucking bed.
Under the bed sword, yeah.
Where
You never
give a sword.
Yeah, you never know where you need to defend yourself, so you put swords under your bed
Easy
in
access.
the nearest dumpster. See, Ed took somebody's dumpster sword, and then they probably got attacked by ninjas in an alley. We're like, oh, I got dumpster sword right here. Reached for it,
Gone.
comedically pulled out like a loaf of French bread.
Ed got killed.
Yeah,
Yep.
immediately murdered. And then his last words were, I swear this was the dumpster I put my sword in.
Where's my dumpster sword?
What a fucking Family Guy bit that it would be.
Brendan says Coach's swords are awesome, but Coach disagrees and said there's a big difference between awesome and extremely expensive. Brendan asks him how he got the money to buy all these swords, and Coach reiterates that he doesn't have the money, so he needs to return them. Coach asks Brendan if he wants to buy the swords, and Brendan says no, because he doesn't have any money. So Coach says, then you are sharing and understanding my problem. Brendan asks him why he bought the swords, and Coach says it's complicated. You probably wouldn't understand. He was smoking a cigarette, and he's like, you wouldn't understand.
He had a
Brendan."
manic episode and just dropped 12 grand on swords.
He even tells Brendan you could never understand until you live alone. And that's when Brendan pretty much breaks it down and says, what, you live by yourself, you get lonely, and you buy swords? Like, clocks it immediately. So that's when Brendan also realizes Coach probably will not be investing in his movie. Coach tells him no, especially if it involves money. And that's when Brendan confesses he doesn't care about this movie, and he thinks it's the biggest piece of crap he's ever been involved in. And he would literally rather do anything else than work on it right now.
I just feel so bad for Jason and Melissa because they are supporting him through
Oh,
this
legitimately.
whole- They're pushing him to get through this, and he's not even giving one hint that he doesn't want to do it anymore.
Jason straight up asks him, like, are you good? Are you abandoning this project? And Brendan's like, no.
That
I'm
was his
still-"
out.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, when someone asks you if you want to do something, that is your out. I don't care. I know how anxious it is to let somebody down. But when you're going door to door, and And then also Melissa was like, "Oh, we sunk 2 months into this, which is what was it?
3 times.
3 times more.
So if I break that down,
Like 2.5 weeks.
yeah, okay,
normally.
yeah. So that's a lot of time. Now that they're invested into, Brendan should at least like not drag his feet about it.
And 2 months for an 8-year-old is like
It's a long
years,
time.
Yeah.
That's forever. Well, Brendan says he should be doing stupid kid stuff, and even points out Jeremy, who doesn't have a care in the world. He asks him, Jeremy, what do you do? And he said he goes home and he eats cookies. While Brendan is venting, Coach starts swinging the sword around and slicing random items, even at one point telling Brendan to duck and jump, and finally telling him to hold a soccer ball above his head so he can slice it.
The only thing I could think of at that moment was the video of the guy with the sword and the sausage.
Sometimes McGurk talks to Brendan and it just reminds me of me and my brother. He's trying to get me to do crazy shit like that.
Go over there.
Oh,
Let me shoot you with this BB gun.
and I like it too because Coach is like, here, hold this ball above your head. And Brendan holds it and he's like closing his eyes. And Coach is like, no, open your eyes. I want you to see this.
I want you to see this.
Was that how Tim was as a brother?
Yes.
Let's move along.
A fan of All American Rejects, I see.
Well, that's when Junior, Adelberg, and Eugene approach Coach McGurk saying they have to leave early today for a Skunk Scout meeting.
You told me the last time we saw Eugene that he was going to appear. That was in episode 5, season 1.
Correct.
Do you know how long I've been waiting for this man to come back?
Eugene.
Since season 5, season 1, episode 5. Yes.
Yeah.
But what a comeback.
Yeah.
Really?
And I learned that it is a comeback with a vengeance from something that happens later on. Well, they compliment Coach on his swords and then mention that they wanted to talk to Brendan. They proceed to ask him if he would be interested in joining the Skunk Scouts. Brendan says he doesn't really have time to join the Skunk Scouts. He needs to find investors for the movie. But Eugene and Junior start explaining all the things they get to learn in Skunk Scouts. Brendan mentions again that he has work to do, but the more they explain it to Brendan, the more he's starting to think it actually sounds like fun. He does mention that he has to do a meeting about the movie, but then immediately asks, what time is the Skunk Scout meeting? Yeah, and I like it too. The whole time McGurk is like chasing a butterfly with the sword in the background.
I was so nervous when he was in the background that he was actually going to slice it.
Me
Yeah.
too. Like, don't do it.
Now, again, same as season 1, episode 5, Eugene is voiced by Eugene Merman, who does the voice of Eugene on Bob's Burgers and a ton of other stuff. Eugene was roommates with Brendan Small way back in the day.
Roommates.
And
They were really.
Brendan is very, very complimentary of Eugene Merman. He's like, he is one of the funniest dudes I know. So, still Eugene.
Was that the same roommate where Brendan got the letter at the...
He got the call that said that they were going to pick up home movies, and Eugene was almost like, you're not calling for me? Because like Eugene was a very funny, like everyone was just kind of waiting for him to blow up. And of the two, they thought Eugene was going to be the first one to get some, and then it was Brendan, and everyone was just kind of like, wait, what?
Well, it's interesting, Eugene. I've only seen you twice, but I've seen Brendan many, many times.
Well, now we see Brendan in his room getting ready for the Skunk Scout meeting. We have the classic gnome on the bed. Jason and Melissa are asking why he's joining the Skunk Scouts, even saying it's kind of bad timing because they have so much work to do selling the movie. I love this. You can tell he's just making it up as he goes. He's like, the Skunk Scouts kids' parents are who we can appeal to.
Crossed eyes.
Yep. Well, Melissa points out that they're doing the meeting. They really should have the writer/director there. But Brendan suggests that they call him when they're ready for him to come and close the deal. So Jason immediately says, yeah, no, I get it. They start the pitch. Brendan shows up a little late, so it seems like he's really busy. So Jason and Melissa agree. I feel like so much of this episode is Brendan just trying to buy time. He just wants to do Skunk Scouts. He wants to do kids. Oh, no, I'm doing Skunk Scouts because of the kids' parents. And the whole Pinewood Derby thing, he even brings it up later. And he's like, and you're probably wondering what that has to do with anything. But if I win, then I can talk to the... Like, the whole thing is just him flying by the seat of his pants, looking for excuses to get out of everything.
Buying time.
Yep.
The whole time. It's just like, oh yeah, no, it's fine. I'm not actually avoiding them. I'm not here.
Yep. Well, that's when Melissa points out they have some merchandise they want to show to Brendan. Jason produces the official Wizards Baker action figures. I like it. He's like, here's yours, Brendan. It's obviously Melissa. They're like, nope, that's Melissa. And he's like, oh, right, as the goat. And they specify, no, the cow. Melissa produces the official Wizards Baker posters. So Melissa shows the first poster. It's fine. But she shows the second poster, and Brendan asks, is that how you spell wizard? W-I-Z-I-R-D? They both kind of look to Jason, and Jason confirms, yes. That is the correct spelling. And Brendan says, great, see ya.
He is so not interested anymore.
Yeah. He even asks, I think, if the action figures are a final product, and they're like, yeah. And he's like, because I love them.
I mean, in his defense, they don't look good.
I want them. Someone 3D print those.
Yeah, I would display them.
Yeah,
Joe?
me too.
Yeah, Joe's on it. We see the Skunk Scout flag with the number 43 under it. Presumably this is Troop 43. I think they mention it later. And we hear the den leader speaking. And the den leader is, of course, everyone's favorite, Mr. Lindenson of Troop Roman numeral 43.
Roman numeral.
Yes. So, again, Mr. Lindenson, Paula's old and I think current boss, and voiced by Andy Kindler. Very funny comedian. So, everyone here loves Mr. Lindenson. I didn't hear any audible reactions to him being on screen by anyone.
I saw the flag. I heard his voice. I knew. Honestly, wasn't as bad this episode. I'll admit to that.
He was fine. He was basically in this scene and then the last.
Yeah.
He was fine. He says Brendan is officially a skunk scout. All this is happening. Again, we hear the kind of music box version of Brendan's part of the Wizards Baker. Mr. Lindenson tries to leave, but Junior points out he was supposed to talk about the Skunkwood Derby. So Mr. Lindenson opens the book, and we see that they build a little car out of a piece of 2x4 and race it on a sloping track. So, do that. As we were panning from one page to the other, we did see a very quick, allowed materials. So allowed we have scissors, knife, glue, paint, pencil, tape, paper clips, hard-boiled egg, pantyhose, empty milk carton, magazine pictures, chicken bone string, needle, hammer, rocks, and I think the last word is grass.
Did anyone participate in the Pinewood Derbies?
I did.
My brother did.
I did, and I feel like people did cheat and try to hide weights in there somewhere.
Yeah, you put pennies on the bottom and tape them.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's all you did.
He
Dang.
did the racing one and also one with a little boat. Like you blow on the sail.
Yeah. They bring in like a giant fucking bucket and they pour water in it and they put it in there and they say go and it maybe it does.
Oh, I never did the boat one, but we did Pinewood Derby. And I feel like most of the cars ended up just looking like a slice of cheese for aerodynamic purposes.
I made mine look like Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Did you make them out of Yu-Gi-Oh cards?
No. I just made my mom paint them. It's like this though. This card. Elemental Hero Spark Man.
Junior asks if the event is next week, and Eugene points out that it's after the spaghetti dinner, Mr. Lindenson, which is exactly what Marcin calls him.
Yeah.
And I love this bit, too, because that's when Mr. Lindenson opens the book, and it just says, quote, next week. Well, him turning the page transitions into the next scene, which is somebody opening the door to Jason and Melissa. Jason begins his pitch saying that they only need a moment of their time and asks them if they like movies and if they like money. So let us into your house because we're going to make you rich, rich, rich.
I love that they dressed up for this, and I wrote down that Jason looked handsome.
Yeah.
Jason looks very nice. He's got the suit and tie, hair combed over. Melissa has got the power shoulder pads going on.
Absolutely.
Get it, girl.
So now we see them. We're sitting at a table. Melissa is saying that the projected movies money back making are, and Jason says they're looking at least a few million.
What is he doing on that calculator?
He's just writing boobs.
Yeah.
Or boobless.
Boobies.
Well, Melissa goes on to explain that as a stock haver owner, you will be guaranteed. And that's when Jason interrupts her to point out, what a beautiful baby. And asks if he can hold him.
I just love it. He's like calculating, and then he just like looks over at the baby and like little wave.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
it's so cute.
Yeah.
Can I hold him? It's a him, right?
It's a
It's
him, right?
Well, now we're outside of the corner of Lonely and Brew, and we go inside to see that it's Coach McGurk on the phone trying to return his swords. The operator is explaining that all cutlery is non-refundable. Coach yells that swords aren't cutlery, but the woman replies that they like to think they are. So Coach explains he's going to use the swords in a bad way. So when you hang up the phone, just remember that you made someone use swords in a bad way. And her reply is, as long as you don't return them, I don't care what you do.
Did we talk about the page turn transition that they did with the book that Mr. Lindenson was reading?
Oh, yeah, it was a page turn transition. Oh, but it had the how to ride a, what was it?
How to tame an alligator.
How
or
to tame an
something like that.
alligator, yeah.
Mhm.
But that page turn transition to Jason and
Yeah.
Melissa knocking on the door.
Yeah, I wrote it down. I just saw it now.
Yeah.
Do we know who those investors were, or do we just
Nope.
know that? Okay.
We never see them. We only see them from the back.
Yeah, we see blue pajama and yellow pajama.
Yep. When she tells Coach, have a nice day, thank you for calling Shop at Home Network, McGurk leaps into the air with his sword with the intention of slicing his television in half. Now, they did say in commentary, this was a little bit of an homage to Samurai Jack, which was like pretty popular at the time.
Samurai Jack, back from the past. Here, Jack.
Jack. I like that too. He spins the sword at one point when he gets all upset. Now we're back at the meeting with Jason and Melissa. Melissa's explaining that Brendan, the director, should be there any minute. But Jason butts in to apologize again for dropping the baby.
He looks mortified the whole time.
Yes.
He's got his hand over his mouth.
Oh, baby.
Even comments, it's a very heavy baby. They go on to explain once the movie is done is when the millions start coming in. And Melissa tries again to call Brendan. So now we see Brendan at his house playing with Junior and Eugene with their Pinewood Derby cars. Again, we hear that music box version of the Wizard's Baker song. As Brendan comments, this is fun. In the background, we hear the phone ring continuously. Brendan ignores it and continues playing with his Pinewood Derby car.
Can we hear the music again on that part?
Sure.
Race at the spaghetti dinner. It is also award ceremony. I will be victorious over you.
There's something very diabolical and informative about Eugene.
Naturally,
Yeah, you can hear the music box in there.
Yep. Well, I think it's funny because I believe this next clip was going to be our clip for this episode, which is the final scene of the meeting with Jason and Melissa and the mystery investment couple.
naturally, our director is extremely busy, I'm sure.
I don't think he's coming.
Scurrying around the city, finding new locations.
He's not coming.
Melissa, please.
Our stupid director isn't coming.
Melissa, you're blowing the deal.
Why me? It's stupid Brendan.
All right, I agree. He's stupid. You know something? This is stupid.
Jason, you're blowing the deal.
No, I'm not. It's Brendan, Melissa.
But you're the one who dropped the baby.
So it's a fat baby. How was I supposed to hold it? You try picking it up, Melissa.
I'm not picking up fat babies, Jason.
What's the matter, Melissa? Chicken to pick up a fat baby? There it is. Pick him up.
That's it. I'm leaving.
Goodbye. I am so sorry for what you just But I'd like to talk to you, too, about back-end points.
A back end point.
Also, like, any baby's a fat ass baby to an 8-year-old. You know what I mean?
Very true.
Like, it's a heavy baby.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty
You
sure.
should have never let him hold the
No.
baby.
Right.
No, absolutely
It's
not.
kind of on them.
Yeah. I once went down a water slide with my brother, who was a baby at the time, holding him going down. And I did drop him, and he went all the way down into the water. And my babysitter was, because she just saw him. She saw me still sitting there, and then the baby coming out of the slide.
No.
What water
her.
park let you do this?
I was in Tinley Park. I don't know.
Jesus.
Wild.
Yeah, I mean, the lifeguards there are like 19 years old. They don't know.
They're also babies.
They're practically babies. as
Yeah. The first time I watched this, I was like, oh, man, Jason's being an asshole. Melissa she just like fell apart immediately.
Oh, Melissa's immediately like, Brendan's not coming.
Yeah, and Jason's still trying to hold down
The
the fort.
crash out was real.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
The fat fucking baby over there.
What's wrong, Melissa? Chicken to hold a fat baby?
And then she goes outside and pouts.
Yep. So the next scene opens. Brendan is still playing with his Pinewood Derby car as Paula approaches him to tell him, wash his hands for dinner. Brendan sniffs his hands and says, "Yeah, they smell clean." And that's when Paula, that's when Paula asks if he got the messages that Jason and Melissa called about 40 times. Brendan immediately says no, and Paula points to the large pile of messages next to the phone. She asks Brendan if he's avoiding Jason and Melissa, but he claims he is not. That's when we hear the phone ring again, and Brendan repeatedly tells his mom, "I'm not here, I'm not here, I'm not here, I'm not here." She answers the phone saying, "Hello, Jason and Melissa. Yes, he is right here."
Classic mom move.
That is such a mom move.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, face the actions of your consequences.
My mom used to do it where I would be like, "Hey, so-and-so wants to know if I could stay the night," and I'm shaking my head no. Like, please say no, please say no. And 99% of the time, my mom would be like, "Nope, you've got," and she'd make something up. But that 1% where she's like, "Get the fuck out of my face." She's like, "Yes, Aimee, you can stay the night over at your best friend's house." I'm like, fuck. I didn't want to.
Was it a punishment?
Well, sometimes I just wanted to stay home, you know?
Yeah.
And she wanted you out of the house.
Yeah, she's like, "Get the fuck out of here."
Well, Brendan gets on the phone, and immediately we hear Jason proclaiming Melissa he lives. Brendan asks them what's going on, and Jason says they haven't seen much of him lately. He claims he was busy with the Skunk Scouts, and Jason says, "That's an interesting story, and I hope you're having fun because Melissa and I have been busting our ass trying to sell your movie."
Damn.
Reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also-
Valid crash out.
Yeah. I love that Melissa's also sitting there holding quarters, like
Yeah.
putting them in.
Yep.
Yeah, we're not getting off this phone, Brendan.
Well, Brendan claims he's busy doing his job getting a bunch of potential clients because he has a good shot of winning the Skunkwood Derby. It was even like, "And you're probably wondering what that has to do with anything." And claims that they bring the sales kit, and once he wins, they can sell to a captive audience at the spaghetti dinner. So we have a real quick scene. We're at the grocery store with Brendan and Paula. Paula's asking why she should take Brendan's side, and Brendan says, "Because you love me." I like this because Paula explains she does love him, but that won't hold up in court. They go back and forth a little bit, but then Paula tells Brendan to go wait in line because it seems like things are backing up over there. That's
there.
when we see Coach McGurk at the front of the line with a bunch of groceries on the conveyor belt explaining that he will pay for his food with swords, arguing the swords are worth more than the groceries.
Paula says she's going to get the stuff for the spaghetti. Did she make the spaghetti at the spaghetti dinner?
She may have.
Whoa.
Or maybe I could see it being like every mom is responsible for making like some
bringing
spaghetti.
that spaghetti.
Bring a pot of spaghetti.
Yeah.
I could see that. Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand that because what's the point of the scouts then? The spaghetti dinner is very funny because as a scout, the spaghetti dinner was a thing that happened every
absolutely,
year.
Yeah.
I don't know why it was only spaghetti. I don't know what the...
Cheap,
Cheap,
that's
yeah.
why.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. I didn't know if they had some sort of like a deal with spaghetti makers or whatnot.
The
Big
Boy
spaghetti.
Scouts, the Boy Scouts of America have a contract with
Chef
big,
Boyardee.
with Big Spaghetti.
I would not,
with Big Spaghetti.
dude. I would not be surprised with the way that cheese and milk is in this fucking country.
But if they had a deal, they should stop selling popcorn. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I would buy a good sauce,
dude.
or a good noodle.
I was always so jealous of the Girl Scouts who got cookies and we got fucking popcorn.
The popcorn's trash.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys like you guys like.
yeah, me.
Could you put in a word to the Boy Scouts? Maybe like get like a deal with Garrett's popcorn.
Yeah, I'd
Right?
like that
Yeah,
for
if
sure.
if you're gonna overcharge for popcorn, at least get good popcorn.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Get good.
Get good, Boy Scouts.
But I don't know what the deal with because for me, the scouts they're not there to eat spaghetti. They're there to serve spaghetti. Like that was what the scouts were all supposed to do to like learn how to be a waiter, a waitress, or whatever.
Learn how to be a good housewife.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Yes, that's what scouts need.
Hell yeah.
Well, the cashier says that makes sense, but unfortunately, they don't take swords. I love this because Coach explains he's not asking them to take swords all the time. He's asking them to take swords this time.
Is that the Reckless Room mobile in the background?
It might be. It looks off color though.
Yeah, it's just a beat up red car, so you never know.
Yeah, I see a P.
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
I think that most of his groceries are beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beer
One
and alcohol,
steak.
and then like
Strong
yeah.
beer, red
Shits.
whiskey,
red eye
black cold
whiskey.
brew,
Yeah.
2 Sixers.
Yup.
Is it just me or is his hair like more disheveled than?
Oh no,
normal?
he's going through it. He's disheveled for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how you guys would feel about the barter system coming back. Or is
I
Hell
love it.
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
listen, I might have accepted a sword as payment.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's,
absolutely.
I mean, look at that purple one right there. I might take that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it because the cashier explains, "Sir, if I take your swords, then I'm going to have to take everybody's swords."
It is a problem.
Trying to prove his point, Coach takes one of the swords out, explaining this is an exact replica of Excalibur. It has magical powers. I just don't know how to release them. As he points the sword into the cashier's face. The cashier says he's going to call his manager real quick, and Coach encourages him to, because the manager's going to come, look at these swords, and the cashier is going to be very embarrassed. That's when we hear the cashier call the manager, Tom, and just simply say, "Call the police." That's when Brendan approaches and asks Coach what he's doing, even pointing out he's pointing a sword at a guy. Brendan goes on to explain everyone's afraid that this guy's going to kill someone with a sword, but Brendan noticed, "Hey, I know that guy. He doesn't kill people." And Coach explains he was just trying to trade the swords for food. That's when Brendan mentions the spaghetti dinner he's going to for the Skunk Scouts and invites Coach. Coach asks if it's free. That's totally me coded. Is there going to be free food there? Then I will be there.
I mean, I mostly will only go to places if it's free.
Well, Brendan says it is free. Mentions that he hears police sirens in the distance. So Coach says he's got to go.
Brendan says, like, "Oh, McGurk doesn't kill people. He has."
Oh yeah, the dude. In
The
the car.
BEM bum guy?
Yeah. Well,
Where he-
he does. Brendan doesn't know that.
That's
That's
true.
on the sly.
Nobody knows that.
Nobody
Yeah.
knows.
Except us.
And that was person, not people.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
way
don't count.
different.
You kill a guy
Different.
one time.
One time.
Wasn't even with a sword.
God.
Everyone should get one.
You can't get away with anything anymore.
I think we need to impeach the wizard.
Well, gang, we're at the Skunkwood Derby. Mr. Lindenson is starting the race. During the first race, we see that releasing the cars while holding a checkered flag is Gladys, the piano player from Bye Bye Greasy,
Oh shit.
in a bikini.
Oh my god.
Why?
Why indeed?
Tits out Gladys.
Yeah.
Gladys, play the music.
She's comfortable in her body.
Good for her.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, she can wear a bikini.
Look at her. You rocking it.
Yeah.
And let's look at the cars here. We got all the way on the left is the usual cheese wheel that we see
Yep,
in most derbies
absolutely.
with a little bit of blue lightning bolt on it. Next to that, we got a dragon. It's a
Yep.
little bit different with a little bit of a curved edge on either side and a spike in the back, probably the tail. Next to that seems like just a race car, which is Brennan Smalls. And to the right of that is a tank, I think.
Yeah,
An army
that sounds
tank,
right.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, we see Melissa and Jason talking to Brendan. Melissa's asking them if these are the high-profile clients he was referring to. And that's when we get a shot of the crowd. And there doesn't seem to be much potential for investors. Jason asks if he's been working on getting money from them, and Brendan claims yes.
Yeah, you saw that? You saw that?
They're arguing.
What happened?
And let's timestamp this. Let's go to 17 minutes and 44 seconds, please.
Because you saw the thing?
Oh yeah.
Now, from this angle, we see Jason talking to Brendan. In the background, there is a counter with some food on it. If you look closely, it appears as though somebody is urinating into one of the bowls of food. Again, I'm going to give the timestamp on the YouTube video of about 17 minutes and 44 seconds. Considering his behavior from Season 1, Episode 5, my assumption is this is Eugene the Peeing Machine.
I was just gonna say red legs. I mean, they're all probably wearing red.
Right.
But
Yeah.
He seems to be tall and skinny. There's 4 bowls on the counter. He's peeing into the second bowl.
it's a blue-ish bowl. Yeah. So I'm gonna keep an eye on that. See if I see anybody eating or drinking out of
Please.
that bowl.
Yeah.
Well, my first thought was it could be Shannon, but Shannon's a bit more refined as a bully.
I think so. And again, I mean, this man has a history of urinating where he should not.
Are
Are you
you?
pissing?
And then also, while they're peeing, someone passes by.
Yeah. We do see him later. Mm-hmm. That is a retired colonel.
I thought it was one of the
dead.
the zombies from Scooby-Doo Zombie Island.
I mean, kind of looks like it.
'Cause it's terror time again.
So while they're arguing, we hear Mr. Lindenson tell Brendan, actually, nope, I'm sorry. We hear Mr. Lindenson tell Brandon he's up for the semifinals. So Brendan tells Jason and Melissa if he wins, they get to pitch the Wizard's Maker to the crowd. And immediately Jason and Melissa correct him, telling him it's the Wizard's Baker. We see a montage of Pinewood Derby races, and then we see Mr. Lindenson give out third place to Junior Adelberg. We have a quick shot of Junior being hugged by, I believe it's 2 women from his family, so I don't know if this is like a mom and an aunt or 2 aunts. Yeah, he said, hey, third place, at least that's something.
I think that's his mom because I'm pretty sure she was also at the Bye Bye Greasy in the audience.
Yeah, and then I want to say the other one's like an aunt because all the Adelberg men had like blonde-haired wives.
See, I chuckled at that because I thought he was referencing that he was getting these 2 large-chested women's stuff in his face.
Yeah, I mean, that might be part of it.
Hey, he's like, hey, this is okay, too.
Yeah, this is my mom and my aunt. This is fine.
Fine.
If there's a way that...
Is that woman breastfeeding?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's Rosie the Riveter.
Yeah.
So that is another background catch. There is a woman in blue sitting between Brendan and Paula's table. And then I think the other table is Eugene. And it's a woman in blue with a red bandana. And she is breastfeeding. Now, at Junior's table, you keep missing it. Oh, my goodness. There's a man in a blue shirt.
Yep.
Here?
Yeah, what's going on with the back of...
That's a different hand, though, doing it.
Right, but there is somebody... Are they unzipping that woman's top?
It looks like it, yeah.
I am not even joking, Marcin. If you can go one frame before that...
All right.
We have...
There it is.
Ken Adelberg sitting at the table.
Why do they keep putting him off screen in the millisecond frames?
Yeah.
Right. Also, why is Junior now... He doesn't have his Skunk Scout uniform on?
It's his twin brother.
No, that legitimately, because that's him there. They were looking at it. The camera point of view was over here, looking to the left. And then it cuts, and now there's another Junior Adelberg.
Unless that's a brother or cousin or something.
Yeah.
So are we saying that as Junior's hand that is unzipping that woman's top?
I
Oh
think
my
so.
God.
And I think his mom is actually the one behind Ken.
Oh, that's
So those are maybe 2 aunts?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're human.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
We need David back in here to tell Marcin his jokes are
Play
funny.
program the bit.
buttons.
Well, it was funny.
But yeah, I hadn't seen Ken Adelberg in a hot minute.
We haven't.
Yeah.
So there he is. He's been busy working. But yeah, if you want to make the argument that's his wife behind him, then I think the 2 women hugging Junior were maybe 2 aunts. And yeah, somebody is definitely unzipping one of those women's tops. It's a red hand. It might be Junior.
I think it's Junior. I mean, we have found out that Junior is kind of a creep from Bye Bye Greasy.
Right.
Yeah.
I won't do that, Noodles, but I will give you mouth to mouth.
So we got Ken Adelberg. We got somebody unzipping a top. We got a woman breastfeeding, all in this pan over. I believe that's when we announce in second place goes to Eugene. And we have a quick shot of his weird-ass family at the table.
Yeah, there's something up. Wait, is this the... No, maybe
No.
that's not the substitute teacher. The one from the double date with...
No,
no.
I don't think so. We do have a kid in a football helmet, though.
Mm-hmm.
And
So-
Paula looks upset here.
Oh, Paula's over it.
Is there a pot on Paula's table?
It might
I
be.
think so.
I can't
She's
remember.
exhausted from cooking all that damn
I'm
spaghetti.
thinking.
Probably. Well, great news, gang. In first place, it's Brandon Small.
Yeah.
There's that drunk guy.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Brendan goes up to receive his reward. This is when we hear like the metal version of his part of the Wizard's Baker. It's like
You want me to play that?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Thank you.
It's my birthday.
It's so great to be a part of the Skunk Scouts. I want to thank Junior. I want to thank Eugene. It's great to be up here. I hope I'm not forgetting anybody.
It's such a good line.
Cut to Jason and Melissa.
Yeah.
I feel that.
I hope I'm not forgetting anybody.
He also didn't thank his mom.
No, he did not.
She cooked all that spaghetti and she can't even thank you?
I love the reflection in the trophy of Jason and Melissa.
Looking pissed off.
Yeah.
Very pissed.
What do you mean?
Yep.
You didn't say nothing to me? I've been supporting your dreams.
Not only did you not thank us, but you didn't even do the pitch.
You didn't even do the thing you're supposed to do.
So Jason and Melissa ask him about the pitch, and Brendan says, well, okay, everyone's eating dinner. I don't want to bother him. Even claims that now that he's up there, he realizes it's not a good idea. Everyone's in such a good mood, and he just won the race. So Jason says, fine, I'll do it myself. Takes the microphone and gets up on stage, begins to explain Brendan, besides being the winner, is also a very talented filmmaker. And they have a new project that they want to pitch to everyone to invest. Jason asks someone to turn off the lights so they can play a clip of their new movie, The Wizard's Baker, which he claims is a musical. Can you believe it? They proceed to show a 5-second clip of Melissa singing Moo Moo Moo, I am a cow, moo moo moo, much to Brendan's horror. And Jason asks who wants to invest some money into that. And that's when Brendan storms the stage and apologizes, claiming he had nothing to do with this movie. He tells Jason and Melissa, get off the stage and get out of my world.
Oh, that feels like a friend breakup to me. That feels so over the line.
Yeah. And starts ripping the poster, kicking the action figures. They start arguing, and Brendan yells for the Skunk Scouts to attack Jason and Melissa. And everything accumulates to them wrestling on stage. This gets interrupted by a loud crash and several audible gasps as we pan over to reveal Coach McGurk cutting down the front door, saying, spaghetti time. As we see people running away screaming.
That's a horror movie. This is a horror movie. His eyes are bloodshot. It looks like he hasn't slept in a couple of days.
Probably hasn't. Isn't eating well. Can't quite
afford
trade
to.
those swords for food.
Did they have eBay at this point in 2004?
I don't think so.
I
don't know.
At one point, I remember the first time I remember hearing about eBay was somebody sold a paperclip for a house.
I remember a paperclip thing where they traded a
traded one.
paperclip.
Traded,
eventually.
yeah, up to a house.
Yeah.
But
I mean, if eBay was around, he could have just sold that shit on eBay.
Oh, easy.
probably.
I think he could.
100%.
I think he could do that. I think he's just lazy.
Ah.
Go to a pawn shop.
Yeah.
Seriously. Well, we have Coach eating spaghetti at the table with one of his sais.
A lot of different colored red splotches. I don't know if some of it's blood and some of it's spaghetti sauce.
Spaghetti.
Let's hope it's spaghetti. Well, Brendan explains to Melissa and Jason that he absolutely hates the Wizard's Baker and thinks it's the worst piece of crap he's ever been a part of, even saying there's no way they can talk anyone into giving money for that movie. There's no plot, and it doesn't make sense. That's when Jason says he's going to have to rip this up and produces a check for $30,000. Quick catch, this check does have a Confederate flag on it.
Oh my God, look at the
From
General L.
Dixie
One
Chicks
Dixie Chicks Way.
Oh my God.
Is that supposed to be General Lee?
I
I think so. I like that he spelled wizards the way that they do.
Made it out to Wizard's Baker, $30,000, check number 007.
Oh, yeah, it is General Lee, L.I.
L.I. I thought that was a comma.
So did I until I saw his signature.
Yes,
Oh,
okay.
God, dude.
857000764.
86. Oh, yeah.
I know, I thought it was going to be another Jenny
Yeah.
reference.
I don't know what it
For a
is.
movie.
But Dixie is like a Southern Confederate thing, and I don't remember what the tie is to it.
Is it something about the Mason-Dixon line?
I don't know.
Someone left their heart in Dixie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$30,000 in 2004 today is a little over $50,000.
I wish someone would just randomly give me $30,000.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Even if that check had a Confederate flag on it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't show anybody, but
No.
No, I would cash that shit immediately.
And I'd make a donation to Black Lives Matter.
Sure.
But
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
Especially because it's got the word wizards on it.
right, right,
Yeah.
right.
is that why he
Oh
donated?
my god!
Dude.
Oh my god!
A wizard is what they call people at the clan.
The
Grand Wizard.
Oh my god.
Oh my god! Are we thinking too much of it, or are we really
you cracked
silly?
it. You
Are we
cracked it.
really silly for not getting it right away?
I don't think we're silly. I think we're right though.
Yeah.
Look at that man.
Jason says it comes from a retired colonel. And they show him, and he gives the thumbs up.
He's about dead.
He is a corpse.
Yeah.
He's like a bite taken out of his hat
Yeah.
and his leg.
Yeah, you can see his ribs.
Yeah,
He's-
and his shoulder.
He's green.
He's a pickle.
Hey, Morty. No, he looks like the zombie from Zombie Island, Scooby-Doo, like legitimately the pirate one. He looks dead.
Oh my god!
Oh.
I can't believe what a reference.
Wow.
I was wondering why a random Confederate general, because
It
like
was such a quick shot, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
because Eugene and Adelberg are two non-American kids, and then there's just a random Confederate family that
Must
was
be
there.
from the other troop. Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah. I don't know. Well, Brennan says it looks like they can make the movie after all. And Jason says, screw the movie. We should set up a college fund. Melissa calls him practical. And we see Coach skewering some meatballs with one of his swords. And that is the end of Season 4, Episode 5, The Wizard's Baker.
Or is it?
Or is it? We have an end credit scene. They said in commentary the end credit scene, which was McGurk and Lynch fighting crime. McGurk is called Crazy Blades, and Lynch, dressed as a kitty, is Paws and Claws.
Wait, what?
You didn't see this?
No, I mean, he already had a superhero name, Catman. Remember from the newspaper?
Well, this is the adventures of Crazy Blades and Paws and Claws.
He's evolved.
Yeah. Well, they said in commentary, this was all David San Angelo.
Hey.
Friend of the pod.
Give us a little extra after credits scene there.
Thank you, David.
The entire time we hear this, we have the Wizard's Baker, like the metal version, playing. It's some robbers stealing from a bank, Lynch and McGurk fighting them off, and it ends with the three robbers tied up with a confused police officer. That is the same officer that has been voiced by Mitch Hedberg. Scratching his head in confusion, we pan over to a building and see the silhouettes of Crazy Blades and Paws and Claws. And that is the end of Season 4, Episode 5, The Wizard's Baker.
Was this like a reference to the... I'm not sure if you guys ever watched the 90s Batman animated series.
Oh yeah,
I could see that.
I think it's just like a, in general, like comic book
Yeah.
type of
Yeah.
like those little flashes. Pow.
The only reason it gives me any other idea of like the Batman animated series is because the way that it pans up to that and the moonlight striking, because that was the end of the intro for the Batman animated
be.
series,
Oh.
which was popular around this time, I believe.
I could see that.
David San Angelo, was this your episode? Is this your favorite episode? I don't know if you're still listening, but if you are, good episode.
Yeah, this was such a fun episode, and you have multiple like huge McGurk lines. Swords and spaghetti time are like two of his very, very quoted lines.
Spaghetti time.
I've also
Spaghetti
seen in the Brendan posting, a dude makes like mirrors, and he made a mirror of McGurk with his sword.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks
Wait.
really cool.
Which sword?
So the very
when it's,
first
like,
time
in
when he
front of his
pulls out
face.
the sword with Brendan at soccer practice and he has a sword in front of his face, he does these paintings and then has like a mirrored either silver or gold that he puts on the back. So it's like a painting. I believe his name is Very Handsome Shrip on Facebook and Instagram, but it's the painting with McGurk and then the sword is a mirror.
That's dope.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
That is
And he
dope.
makes all kinds of stuff from not just Adult Swim, but all kinds of animation. Ed, and Eddie,
Nice.
just everything. His stuff is amazing. Very
Mr.
well
Meaty?
I think the one that I saw was, did one of them get gold teeth at one point?
Yeah.
He made the teeth like a reflective gold.
I love Ed, Ed, and Eddie. Ed, Ed, and Eddie is like my show.
Well, rewatching Ed, Ed, and Eddie coming soon.
Oh,
Hey, I'd
boy.
be down. I haven't watched Ed, Ed and Eddie since I was a kid.
Can I tell you the level of earworms that Tim has for this show? I have so many for Ed, Ed, and Eddie. I actually used a bunch of them on this podcast, one of them being point deduction. That's a Rolf line.
The one I always remembered is Ed Boy.
Ed Boy? Life has many doors, Ed Boy.
And Buttered Toast.
Toast. Dude, this guy... tangent. There's this guy at one of the first anime conventions I ever did. He cosplayed Ed, like striped jacket, dumb Ed. And he did such a good job.
Yeah.
He did the voice and everything. Also, I just wanted to point out, I love the way that McGurk eats the spaghetti.
Yeah, with his sigh.
He's twirling it.
Yeah, he twirls it and then puts it back in.
It is pretty classic.
Yeah. Oh, so that's like those are called sais. I think it's SAI. That's like what Raphael from the Ninja Turtles has. That kind of three pointed thing. And that's what he's
I like
using
that
to eat his
he's
spaghetti.
being like, you know what? I bought these. I live with these. I need to find a use for them. That's gonna be me with Legos one day.
Eaten with Legos.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a Lego fork.
Lego bowl.
But the maniac doesn't put the meatballs in with the spaghetti. He's just...
No.
He's
No,
got them
he's raw
separate.
dogging the
He's got to
meatballs.
skewer those later.
Yeah.
So,
He could have also done those on those. What is it? Size.
yeah.
That would
Yeah,
have been cool.
he could have done meatballs on one side and spaghetti on the other.
Yeah.
This picture right now, it has the aura of that one meme where he wakes up and he's like got his eyes squinting, looking at the camera because he's in the bed. I gotta look that up.
So that is that episode. Now, traditionally, we do give these episodes a grade. But before we give the overall episode a grade, Marcin has to give Jason a grade.
Yay, Jason! You are better than Brendan this episode. Brendan was a complete asshole.
What a bad friend. I wrote
Brendan-
that in my notes. You're being a
Brendan
bad friend on
needed
this.
to use his words
Yeah.
and express his feelings.
And Brandon.
Let's
See what
go,
they did?
Lindenson.
No, Jason and Melissa's crash outs were like completely valid.
Yeah.
I think Brendan was terrible. Like, honestly, when he says, get out of my world, I was like, that's a friend breakup. If you said that to me, I'm
That's
out.
wild.
I'm walking
absolutely.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is, I don't know. And because I've been in those positions, because the look of horror on Brendan's face when he's staring at, like, when the moo, moo, moo comes up,
Yeah.
I've been there. You remember when we showed Season of the Curse in the backyard and then you pulled a Halloween video of mine from my channel?
Absolutely. Yeah.
That was my feeling, but at the same time, I was enjoying it. But I was like, So I've been there. I understand, Brendan. You're still an asshole. God,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just like comparing to Brendan in this episode, but Jason was like a breath of fresh air whenever he was on screen.
They were being really good friends
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Like what? Like ride or die. Hey, I'm gonna go door to door to try to like fund this movie.
Yeah.
For you.
Them picking up the pace of picking up the picking up the slack of watching back the footage and then going through what they need and just. Brother, if I could get like that is such a help, and Brendan's out there in the sandbox, like I hate this, like fuck you.
Part of me felt bad for him that moment with his sister.
Yeah.
Oh, he, you know, like he's just like never go into into show business. Like he did need a break, but he'd use your words.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went about it all wrong.
He did, but we wouldn't have had an episode without
Exactly.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he spent his time with his sister that could be, you know, loving her, just being jealous of her.
Yeah.
And telling her not to go after her dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which she didn't understand. She was just but so that being said, like Jason being there and even the crash out he had with Melissa was, you know, I thought it was his fault at first, but on a rewatch going through for the clip, I was like, you know, actually that's warranted. He's trying his best to hold this down. He just dropped a baby on accident. That's not his fault. It was a fat baby.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I give up. It's like, no, you got to get through this. You have to fake it till you make it. So he didn't do bad at all. I gave him an A.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Even after the crash out, he still was like, and now I'm going to continue talking to you about why you should invest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love when he's like he yelled at Melissa and she walked away and then his eyes just slowly look back up at his investors.
I'm sorry you had to see that. Now let's talk about points on the back end.
That was so funny. But also, Jason's kind of the hero in the end. He's the one who got the check.
Yeah.
He's the racist.
Yeah. Yeah.
He don't know that. He's just a kid. He thinks it's just a nice army guy.
Yeah, he has no idea. What a nice man.
Wild.
That is actually wild.
Yeah, I can't believe he pieced that together. That
was insane.
Oh my goodness. Oh goodness. Okay, so now overall episode. What would we like to score? Who wants to go first, or shall I? Okay, I will.
You shall.
Yeah, I love this episode. This is, I genuinely think this is probably like a pretty classic episode. You've got a lot of McGurk earworms. Just in the spaghetti dinner scene, in that one pan over, it was almost like we just kept finding shit.
Yeah.
There was so much happening. And the thing I didn't notice until I think I saw someone post on the Brendan post and was the Eugene peeing. Mm-hmm. But then it was like literally catching stuff as we're pausing it, recording the episode. It's like the gift that keeps on giving. This is such a fun episode. Very good. Very glad we got to do it with a guest. I'm going to give it a straight up A+.
Nice. I'll go next.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with everything that you said. I mean, there's so many good earworms in this. The flow was great. Went by really quick. I brought back Eugene and his little piss bit, which you know is my thing. And then, not in that way.
We don't kink
Not in
shame.
that way.
We don't kink shame.
Piss bit. But yeah, I agree completely. A+ for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Who would like to go next?
I'll go next. Brendan in this episode was like my Jason, which was that's only happened like a couple of times. Remember early on, he would just be a nightmare sometimes. This episode, I felt hatred towards him. I don't know.
Valid.
Yeah, just be nice to your friends, especially when
if you've been through it. That
Yeah.
episode hit you a little bit.
It did, and especially like the creative burnout. That's very relatable.
He ignored them 42 times.
43.
43 times.
Almost a 44th.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I mean, I was enjoying it. I related to it heavily, especially with burnout, when you have like so many projects, and at one point you just want it to be done, or you just want it to be gone, but then you can't because then you're going to disappoint people. Just a very good episode. Also, McGurk just swords.
I love him so much.
I've been waiting for that image of McGurk to make some sort of sense to me for such a long time because like when David Santangelo replied with that image, I was like, what it's a prophecy. It's a hieroglyph. What is this? Because like you send a picture these days, it means something. It has a meaning behind it when you send it. It's a reaction image. So when you sent that and then it was just a depressed McGurk, I was like, you're giving me mixed signals here.
It makes sense now, huh?
Yeah, it makes sense.
I'm really glad I got to be here for you realizing that. Because I saw your reaction. I'm like, oh, I was just excited about McGurk being all lonely and shit.
I was excited for his depression.
Yeah, I get it.
So it was just a good episode. I wanted to give it an A, but like knowing now what David Santangelo did for the ending, that end credits scene of just like, you didn't have to do that.
No.
Did that out of the kindness and love for the show and the passion. Mm-hmm. I'll give you an A+ for that, David. Good job.
Nice.
Wow.
3
I love
so
that.
far.
What if I ruin it?
Do it.
I would.
I
would.
like a D-. I
was going to say I would never, but I just stopped it. I would.
which a D- would be the lowest
I would
grade.
do that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
This is what I'm going to say. I also love this episode. I've watched it a bunch in the upcoming weeks. I prepared for this episode. Tim like gave me a list of like, hey, what would you think you'd want to do? And this is actually one that he recommended. And then on top of recommending it, he asked our brother, who also recommended it. And I think my answer is going to be a little bit different than yours. I'm going to give it an A+ for nostalgia's sake and the fact that I feel like really included in something that two of my brothers are super passionate about. Aww. And like I just thought that was really cool that both of my brothers are like, no, have her do that one because they both love this episode so much. But yeah, I think it was really fun, and I think you're right. It's like one of those moments where the character that you mostly like most of the time is so unlikable, and you need that sometimes.
Yeah.
And like part of it is like, damn, you do kind of feel bad for him because his crash out is also valid, but their crash out was more valid. But yeah, I think it's in so many ways and so many different perspectives just relatable.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know, if you've ever had a friend like be like that towards you, you can relate. If you've ever been burnt out with your work, you can relate. Yeah, all around just a really good episode. A+.
4 A+.
Dang.
Yeah.
Which I think that makes 1S. Is that how
I
the math
think
works?
so. And even a Jason A in there too. So
Yeah, good on Jason. I wrote Jason is handsome.
Yeah.
That's
Hell
something
yeah.
I didn't think.
He cleans up.
He he really cleaned up nicely, and he showed up for his friend.
the one thing, and I've mentioned this before, and I think it's worth saying again, one thing I've always respected about Brendan Small, the actual person and creator, is he is willing to do these episodes where he is not the good guy in the episode.
Yeah.
I'm sure this came from a place of being actually burnt out on creative projects, and instead of trying to twist it in some way where he's the hero, he's like, no, I can be the asshole, it's fine. So I will always respect that, and this is such a good episode. I remember when I joined the Home Movies Brendan posting page, one of the first memes that I made was SpongeBob doing the old reliable, and it was like responding to any Coach McGurk meme, and it was swords and spaghetti time.
Spaghetti time.
I might have thrown DVD in there too, but it's very relatable. So yeah, just a super fun episode through and through.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Apps.
The other day, my partner Nick, who watches home movies, watched a video essay about McGurk and like the lore that goes down.
Damn.
They're like, "Can I play this out loud?" I'm like, "No, you can't."
Yeah, we still have some lore to jump into in the
Right?
next handful of episodes.
Yeah, but they walked away from it just being like, "I don't understand some of these." I'm like, "Neither do I. Can't help you there."
Yeah.
And they started to say, and I was like, "Stop!" But I think they were going to say swords, and I've heard you say swords a few different times too.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Spaghetti time is funny to me because I'm a BoJack Horseman fan, and one of my favorite lines of all time is "Spaghetti or not, here."
Nice. Nice.
There
Good.
needs to be like a sign hanging up in your kitchen when it's spaghetti night.
Yeah.
Spaghetti time.
Yeah.
That should be a painting.
Hell yeah.
Ooh.
I think I sent a meme once to the Discord group chat. I think it was a blushing Sailor Moon saying, "I can't stop thinking about his swords."
Hell yeah. All right. I think that is going to do it for the episode. Is there anything else about the episode? No?
No.
Not for
Eugene was my doodle.
Nice.
I had to do it very quickly. His hair's fucked up, but I think I got his essence.
Good catch on that little sword gnome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I saw it going through, like the first time, I was like, I thought I saw that, and then when I went back to it, I was like, yeah, there it is. The gnomes in here are always so confusing sometimes because I'm always looking for one. The one time I didn't catch a gnome, I was like, I guess there's no gnome in there, and it was the camp episode
Where he's riding on the back of the pig.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is there ever not a gnome?
I think there's been an episode or two
Yeah.
without a gnome, especially early on.
I could imagine like things get cut. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's the gnome.
Right.
Well, Brendan usually has 2 gnomes, and he only had 1 on his bed.
Yeah, he's
this
got
time.
2 bed gnomes.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, that was a very fun episode. I have to ask our guest, Aimee, is there anything you'd like to plug or promote?
Oh, sure. I have a podcast. You might have heard about it on this podcast. It's called the Happy Corner Podcast. It's me and my co-host KB Marion and our sound guy Aimee Blaze. We just chat and we have a good time. We've been at it for such a long time. Like a long, like 10 years?
Yeah, it's been a minute. I think
Give or
it's
take.
Didn't it start on like recording onto an iPhone?
Dude, on my phone.
Yeah.
On my phone. And then I don't even know like how we got it out to people. I have no idea. So when we got like a mixer and like a microphone, so we've come a long way. And I also couldn't do that without you because I don't know how to do sound shit.
Yeah. Well,
And you're good at pretending you do.
Not according to this email I just received.
Yeah, I also want to
Thankful.
talk to that person. So
Yeah. We are thankful for all of the sound engineers who are contacting us and giving us tips.
Yes. It came from such a kind and respectful place. They
love
could have been
that.
like, hey, you fucking dicks, fix your shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
because that's what my friends say to me about my podcast.
I mean, I listen to you guys every Sunday when I get the notification,
Yeah.
and sometimes I'm like, put the mic closer to your face because Twitch is not picking it up.
No, we got some issues to work out.
But having people to like actually help you through that is so helpful, because I did start, making content a long time ago, like 2014, outside of high school. I was just trying to figure it out, and I think Nate, my friend, can also attest to this. It's like, it's so fucking hard to figure out shit when you have no idea, no tips. And going on YouTube is it's literally looking at the ocean going, I know there's answers in there, but I don't know how to get them out.
Right. No, yeah, it's so helpful to have people live in the chat being like, can't hear you.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Very helpful.
Very, very helpful.
Yeah. And just with sound stuff, like, I don't like going back and listening to my old, my first episodes, because it's awful.
Yeah.
But I am so grateful for how long it took me to figure shit out, and I'm still figuring shit out, and we're still figuring shit out. So the emails that we get, I think that's the something I'm so grateful for, which is just having people give a shit. And
absolutely,
you guys have a really cool listener base.
Yeah.
Like a super cool listener base, and
I'm very, very happy and grateful and lucky about that.
You should, you should be.
Yeah, which is why we're terrified, because we're on the last season, and we're like, what are we gonna fucking do?
I think they'll follow you guys, in endeavors that you do.
I'm hoping.
I'm hoping to steal some of them, to be honest with you.
It took a lot longer for me to realize the happy corner was THC.
Yeah.
Took me a lot.
It was so fun because that's 10 years ago, about when we came up with it, and nothing was legal, and me and my co-host both partake.
Yeah.
And we did illegally for years, and we wanted to be discreet but fun and still kind of reference it. So, I mean, we were doing video. We would take a break, so, from live video to smoke off camera.
Yeah.
And now you see us. We don't give a shit.
I love when you just get off frame.
That used to be my move on Twitch.
Yeah, and now it's who gives a shit? We've come a long way. That happens a lot. Same with our open mic.
Yeah.
Which is, do you care if I talk about that?
Go for it.
Okay, it's called See You Next Tuesday, and we didn't name it, but somebody else did, and it's been around for 11 years, and someone just recently was like, I just realized what See You Next Tuesday is.
I think I said that to Tim at one point, too.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
But I think people have stopped using that and just started calling people
the C word.
Yeah.
I mean, we're Australians now. But
so it's fair that you don't know that that's what that meant.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all. I'm sorry. That's all
No,
I
you're
wanted to
fine.
promote. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's at Miss Aimee Blaze or Aimee Blaze. You can find me. Type in my name, AIMEE Blaze.
Yeah, you're going to say type in my name, Amy. I would have not guessed that was how you spell
nobody
my name.
would. Nobody would. AIMEE.
I like when people message you on Facebook Messenger and be like, "Hey, Amy, AMY," and it's like,
It's right
look
there.
up, like 5 inches from the.
I like when people do that and they're like, "Sorry, talk to text." I'm like, "Fair." Okay, but program it so your phone spells it right next.
Yeah, it's like someone calling you Marvin.
Okay.
That's that's a joke. I take that. My email is still Marvin because I messed up. It did the autocorrect thing. So people have messaged me back, reply to my emails with, "Hey Marvin," and
Hey,
I'm like,
Marv.
Not just that, that V and C are right next to each other on the keyboard. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
making sure.
Fair.
I sent an email to a podcast I really liked, and they're like, "Oh yeah, thank you, Marvin." I'm like, "All right,
Marv.
yeah,
Well,
that's fine."
gang, on behalf of myself, Tim, and my co-host Marvin and Adele. Just kidding. I think that's it.
Can I just say one more thing?
Yes, of course.
There's a lot of things going on right now, and it's scary. And I just wanted to say thank you to the people who are listening. It is the biggest reprieve I have from those moments, but I want us to believe that we're together on this, because if you're listening, you are feeling it too, and sticking together and just being friendly, being nice to each other, being supportive means the world to so many people. And just thank you.
Oh, I want to back that 100%.
Yeah.
I know I like to goof around and stuff like that, but genuinely, like, our fans, our listeners, these are the people that not only help me push through when I am feeling the creative burnout on to do this podcast, but it's so nice to be producing something that is connecting with so many just cool and kind people. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much for listening. And, yeah, we really, really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
Stand up for what you believe in and just stay safe out there.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. And at the end of the day, spaghetti time.
Spaghetti time.
That's going to do it for this episode of Rewatching Home Movies. We're off next week for the 4th of July, but we'll be back the following week with Season 4, Episode 6, Psychodelicate. If you liked what you heard, check out our Linktree at Linktree/RHMPod. There you can like, follow, and subscribe. Support us on TipJar, send us an email to request free stickers, or leave us a 5-star review. I will read 5-star reviews on the podcast. Thanks again to Aimee Blaze for being our guest, and Chris Bongat for the lo-fi version of our theme song, as well as Nick for the refresh of our logo. On behalf of myself, Tim, and my co-host Marcin, and Adele, thank you for rewatching home movies with us. We'll see you next week. Bye.